What's up, guys? We are live. Welcome back to the Ange TV show, guys. It is Tuesday, and I have backstage, guys, a very, very special guest, highly requested by you guys, okay? You guys requested him. He's here. I have none other than Montreal actor, the very talented, drumroll please, Matthew Giuffrida.
What's happening? How's it going, everybody?
What's up, Matt? How are you, buddy? How you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Good. No problem. It's a pleasure. And for all of you coming from Matthew's, I want to say gang, following, I don't know what you want to call it, the little brother, minions.
The brotherhood. How about that?
The brotherhood. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. You guys are awesome. And if you're going to be watching the replay, you're also just as important. Thank you all. So, the big burning question, Matthew. Who is Matthew Giuffrida?
All right. We're starting off with a good one here. Well, I'm on full screen. Okay. Let's get the nerves out of here. Who is Matthew Giuffrida? I guess the best way to put it would be Montreal-based for now. Actor and social media content creator. That's kind of what I would say that the general, right? I make basically I film myself talking to myself and I post it online. That's the way I like to say it. And trying to get my feet into the acting game as well. So I think that kind of sums up in general who I am. Exactly.
That's a great intro right there. A1. Listen, Matt, I want to know, buddy. Growing up, okay. I mean, some people they know they have it in them. They have it in their blood. Some people, they realize it later on. You know, I watch America's Got Talent, by the way. It's crazy. But I want to know a bit about your childhood. Were you the same witty type of guy, funny type of guy, creative? Were you more of an introvert? I want to know the young Matthew Giuffrida.
So introvert, definitely not. You know, when you're a kid and basically people tell you, like, don't go talk to strangers. I was the kid who went to talk to anyone I could talk to, no matter what age. My mom would turn around in the store and then I'm talking to some like the clerk or whatever it is. But and I mean, you know what? Ever since a young age, I want to say that pretty much I've loved to make people laugh. And I've always had a passion for acting. At a very young age, I took some theater courses and improv courses with the Yellow Bug Theater School with Milva Franzini. It's still going on, actually.
Where is it, the Yellow Bug Theater?
The Yellow Bug Theater, right now, they moved to Leonardo da Vinci Center, so here in St. Leonard. Okay. And so basically I did some courses there. We put on a live performance at the end of every year. Wow. And then eventually I kind of stopped. But that was my my acting career kind of started at that young age. I didn't do many sports. Like, we tried soccer. What else? That was pretty much just soccer I tried, but then acting was my thing. Yeah.
Really? So you didn't play soccer, you didn't play hockey, you didn't play Game Boy? I don't know, at the time, was that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, video games, but you see, even on the video games, on PlayStation or whatever it was, I love doing voices and like impressions and all that kind of stuff. A story I've told a countless amount of times is basically I did a Borat impression in grade 6 in front of the school, which grade 6 and Borat should never be in the same sentence together. But anyways.
Ryo Cat already has a question for you, Matthew.
All right.
By the way, he's from Japan. Keep in mind.
Okay.
He says you've been in game before. Like, have you been a voice actor in a game?
No, but I have auditioned for a couple of games, actually.
Really?
One of them was Far Cry. We're very lucky here in Montreal because there's a huge market for video games, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And voice acting and stuff. So yeah, I haven't actually been in one, voiced the characters, but I have auditioned a couple of times for that.
But what about voice acting in anything else but a game? Have you done any voice acting gigs?
Yes, actually, the first, like I said, I've auditioned for a couple of them, but my actual first voice acting gig was at the beginning of this year, was for a Nissan commercial, actually. Okay. So that was pretty cool. That was first time, nervous.
Yeah.
And then like you can hear when people have that voice, that I guess that commercial voice, I guess you could say. But it was just super cool to do it, actually. Yeah.
Awesome. Listen, it's amazing. Everybody wants to do it, I imagine. But you need like a voice tape. I heard You need like a
yeah. So I mean, they're demo reels, right? So you need like an acting demo reel. It helps to have like a commercial demo reel. Basically, it helps to have a demo reel for whatever it is that you're auditioning in, right? So eventually, voice acting for video game demo reel. So as many as you can have, the better it is, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome. Raul said you can join Ange in the next Transformer movie being filmed in Montreal, brother.
There we go.
They're filming Transformers in Montreal. I'm actually looking to maybe be an extra. So
you let me know. I'll point you in the right direction for that because they're definitely going to be looking for tons of extras.
Nice. So brother, I should say, or Matthew. Today I'm going to be calling you Sal, brother.
It doesn't matter. I respond to all of them.
Okay, no problem. So we all want to know. A lot of us are wannabe actors. No disrespect, but like a lot of us want to do it, right? A lot of us like are curious, right? I think I could say. So what are the steps that one would take to become an actor, Matthew?
Okay. Now you did say something interesting that a lot of people are curious, right? The first time I did background work, I told myself everybody should experience one day doing background work. Anybody can do it. You don't need any prerequisites or whatever the hell. You get paid for it for one, and you get to be on set. But it just gives you a scope and insight of how much work goes into like a 10-second scene. It's actually ridiculous to a certain extent. It's amazing to see how many people are working and how at the pace that they're working. So you have a new type of appreciation for the actual film industry. Now, the first steps. This is funny because when I quit work and quit school and decided to just dive straight into the acting this time around 3 years ago, I had no idea where to go. Right, I knew you need an agent and all that kind of stuff, but where do I start? I would say to hook yourself up with an agent. Not all agents will take green actors, which are actors who are basically don't have any experience.
Exactly.
I was fortunate enough to have an agent who took me in without any experience. But then again, what I would do is I would sign up or join every Montreal or wherever you are Facebook group that you can that is regarding acting, modeling, or whatever it is you want to do. And this I think also doesn't just focus on acting. It focuses on pretty much anything, modeling, like I said, or whatever it is. Join every group and just accept every apply to every job that you can. Right. Some of them want auditions. You got a phone. You can do a self tape. You don't need lights. You don't need all this stuff is to make it look pretty. Okay. And I would just apply to everything. Basically, and then get your experience, and then go and look for an agent, and your agent will be able to get you bigger and better roles that are not necessarily on, I would say Facebook. But I mean, hey, at the beginning of my work, I found gigs on Facebook that, like, I did a photo ad for McDonald's. Wow. So it's not to say that you need an agent to get the bigger, I guess, roles or gigs or whatever, right? Yeah. But an agent does definitely help, 100%.
Okay. I just want to say, guys, mega shout out to Dabby. He's a new subscriber. He just randomly came in here. He said your live looked interesting. Mega shout out to you, Dabby. And also, McNicrom asked who Matthew is. He's an actor from Montreal, guys. For those of you out of town in the States, all over the world, this is the wonderful Matthew Giuffrida, amazing actor. And he's going to be blossoming internationally very soon, right, Matthew?
Thank you. Hopefully that is the goal.
That's the dream. That's the goal. And I have a question about that later on, so we're going to get to that.
Perfect.
So those are the steps. Now, I think it's a good moment to ask you why an agent is important, and I could assume that you don't have the time to deal with the back and forth, the emails, stuff like that.
Yeah. So
that's one of the aspects. But yeah, go ahead, Matthew.
For sure. So why an agent is important? Number one, you'll notice that eventually when you start getting, I guess, busier, or if you are busy right now, what the agent does is he'll find you the job, tell you to do the self-tape, and then from there on, he or she will manage the whole process, right? So talking to production, he or she again is basically, I'm going to say he because I have a male agent. Yeah. So basically the medium person, the person in the middle between you and casting. He also takes care of, I would say, like payment issues, right? So sometimes, like negotiations for higher payment or whatever it may be, making sure you get paid, God forbid, you don't get paid, then you have to take your time to pursue and all that kind of stuff. So that is also what they're doing. And again, they're actively searching for you, right? They know what type of roles that you're good for, that you're suited for, and they have access sometimes to roles that you do not have access to. So
is it true, Matthew? Is it true that an agent? Well, I don't know if this is true, but is it true that an agent will not even look at you unless you have at least a following of about 10,000 people? Let's say, is that a myth? Fact? Myth?
Okay, wait. So there's if we're talking about like an acting agent.
Yeah, no. I think I'm talking more Instagram then.
Okay, yeah. So if you're talking more Instagram, then I would say that I think a minimum amount of followers would be 10K, I would think. But then again, like
engaging followers, right? 10K followers.
Never purchased followers. If you're in the game of purchasing followers, forget it. Your
account will get deleted. Yeah.
Yeah, but not only that, I think you're playing a very dangerous game, and not many people will appreciate that, and it doesn't work. The purchasing followers, you need that organic growth, the organic people that comment, that are genuinely there, and even from like a business aspect of it, right? Like that's what businesses want. They want real following. They don't want to be promoting their product, paying you to promote their product to robots, right?
Yeah.
So
there's due diligence done, right?
Yeah, 100%, exactly. Yeah. But then again. 10,000 minimum. If we're talking agents, representation, I would say they want people with a higher amount of following, but not to. But I'm going to say that there are, like, again, if I owned a business, I think it may be, I guess, more a smart strategy would be also to reach out to smaller people, that smaller followings, I would say, of like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever it may be, but that are very specific to the area that I'm trying to promote, right? So if I'm a restaurant in Montreal, if I'm going to go hit up someone who has 100,000 followers, great, you're going to pay for the 100,000 followers, but then there's also the opportunity of hitting maybe 10, 15 people that have 3, 4, 5,000 followers that are all based in Montreal, friends and family. Yeah. So again, it's another type of strategy.
There's micro influencers that are, their following is very active. It's more worth it. That's why, but at the end of the day, they do the due diligence. People notice too, right? They say, well, okay, you're going way too fast. There's something up. Like, you know what I mean? They, like I said, they do their due diligence, end of the story, and that's what it is. So when you go to the audition, that's a really important part, because, I mean, if you don't get the audition, you pack your bags and you do something else, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
what I mean is that you don't get nothing out of it. I mean, you don't get the role. It's like, okay, well, you got to move on to the next thing. But I want to know, Matthew, how do you prepare for an audition? Like, you get the email saying, hey, we want you to come to the audition. How do you prepare? How do you dress? Like, I want to know everything here. Like, imagine me tomorrow, I have an audition, bro. What do I do?
Okay, so I'm going to separate this. I'm going to separate this into two parts, because there's during COVID, and then there's pre-COVID, and maybe post-COVID, and I'll explain that. So basically, pre-COVID, you got your email, you got your time, and basically you have to show up to the studio at that time to do your audition. Generally, like, they'll give you the sides, which are the lines, and the character description, so you have a little bit of an idea of like how you want to practice for this character, how you want to practice and know your lines. 100%, I would know your lines by heart. Like, it's never good to go in and I would say read your lines. But then again, people are subjective. They want to see. Just knowing your lines allows you to just be completely free in terms of your hands, your movements, your thought process, and everything. So I would say 100% know your lines. So this is what I do. Yeah, I memorize my lines. I'll, I guess, study the character, and then you show up and you got a slate. You do your slate. Normally it's just your name, your height, your agent, and all that kind of stuff. And then you do your audition with the reader, and then they'll give you some tips, right? So, okay, let's do it again, but a little bit pretend as if you're angry, or sometimes sometimes the tips or the changes are very interesting. It's like, okay, let's pretend that your history is you are you had a long day at work.
Yeah,
that's it. So it's not really an emotion. It's just you had a long day at work, and then you interpret that into the same lines. So you got to be able to change the way you deliver the lines on the spot, right? Okay. Which is fun. I personally love that. Now, during COVID, they tell you to do the audition and send it in via self-tape versus which is online. So now you can take as many times as you want, as long as you want, until the deadline, and then just send it in. right? So the difference now is when you're doing it at home, you're in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
And you could really practice, take the time. If you make a mistake, no problem. You cut, you restart. When you go to an audition, if you have a bad audition, you mess up the lines, you get nervous. Well, that's it. You've got probably, I'd say 2 or 3 reads, maybe for certain roles, like a little bit more, but 2 or 3 reads, like you're in there for like 5, max 10 minutes. Wow. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Now, post-COVID, I think people really like this home audition type of stuff because you don't got to travel, right? And you could do it at home. You could do multiple in a day, and there's no problem. So I think that's going to stick around. But then again, the in-person auditions, I think, will come back for certain roles because it's just important to actually meet the person, get the vibe, and all that kind of stuff.
But do you find it's a benefit to you that you could do it at home? Like it's better for you. You maybe not you, but I'm saying for most people, like they get nervous, right? If they're actually there in front of people. I mean, the guy's looking right at you. But if you do a self-tape, it's like pre-recorded. Do you think it's an advantage?
Okay, so there's advantages and disadvantages. So of the self-tape, when you're doing it at home, the advantage again is you can do it as many times as you want. The comfort of your own home, so you're comfortable and everything. And then the problem is that some people don't have a reader, right? So how do you do it if you don't have a reader? So that gets a bit difficult. But then again, you don't have to travel, right? So it saves you a bit of time. Yeah. Versus when you go, and then the other thing too is that one thing that at the beginning I didn't like was I don't know what the director wants, what casting wants.
Exactly.
Right. So I used to like going in and then doing what I thought they wanted. And then right away, they're like, okay, wait, that's not the direction we were going. Let's try this. And then, okay, I want to know what you want and I'm going to do that. That's my job to give you what you want, sort of thing, right? As a character. So that's what I really liked. I didn't like the travel, so I'm happy about that. But then again, I also liked going in, doing it, and then forget it and you're done. I really like that. Like, okay, I'll go in. I'm there 5 minutes. I did what I did. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At home, it's, okay, let me try one more time. And let me try one more time. So that 5-minute audition now, right, is an hour, 2 hours long because, well, what if I do? And then before you send it and you're editing it and you're thinking, maybe I should do it like this, right? Yeah. So it saves time on the travel. But if you're able to just get it done and quick and get it out, then I think
Matthew, what's the reality? Let's say you do 10 auditions. Out of those 10 auditions, how many might you get?
You know what? There's no number, there's no statistic. Okay. Like I was a green actor. I got my agent. He sent me to my first audition. I booked it. Does that happen? Does it not happen? There's did I get lucky sort of thing, right? So and then the other thing too is that there's the whole there's the acting union as well. ACTRA is what it's called. ACTRA, yeah. And then you need 3 credits, so 3 roles to become an ACTRA member. So I was able to get my ACTRA membership within a year, which from what I've heard from people is like people are waiting like 20, 30 years to get their ACTRA membership.
It takes a long time, yeah.
So I was very lucky about that. That's a whole other story about the whole acting union and all that kind of stuff. But I won't get into that. We'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole other can of worms.
Exactly. And so where was I going with this? So then again, then after that, I've booked some other ones, but then maybe I went through 20 auditions. Recently, like I've maybe went through again 10, 15, haven't booked any. So and the other thing too about if anyone is doing auditions and getting into it, a lot of the times it's not even based on what you can do, right? So I may walk in and I'm there, no problem, but I'm 5'11", but they're looking for someone who's at least 6'1". They didn't mention it, but they're in their head they're picturing someone who's 6'1". I can give the best audition. Yeah, my auditions will be nice and will be remembered or whatever it is. But for that role there, I lost going in. Now I'm not thinking that going in, but for them sitting there, it's like 6'1" would have been better, or blonde hair.
You know what, Matthew? And like I said, I don't want to interrupt you or anything. But it's like at the end of the day, it could be somebody looked at you and you looked like their ex-boyfriend, and they didn't like their ex-boyfriend. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it could be something that stupid. You know what I mean? So it's like it's out of your control. Okay, and we're gonna talk a bit about later about how to deal with rejection and stuff like that. But that's what people have to understand. It could be the little minute thing, and it's also not about looks either, right? Like, seriously.
It could be all about looks. Like it could be Like there's people who like are really good looking, but then it's like, you know what, you're too good looking. People, you know, like or some people are, oh, I'm thin, I'm fit, I'm huge, I go to the gym, I'm huge. Yeah, but we're looking for more of a dad guy or whatever the hell, you know. So it's like it doesn't. There's nothing you can really do to be in that, you know, fit all shapes and sizes sort of thing. The role the first role that I did and I booked.
Okay.
I thought honestly I thought I was going into a waste of time. The age was 35 to 55.
Wow.
Like I don't know if I could pass 35 is pushing it for me.
Yeah.
Like really, really pushing it. So I'm going, what am I doing here? And I booked it. So it's like, and it's funny, the guy who played beside me, we were two cops. The guy who played the background cop was the 40 to 55 range. So maybe they switched it. I don't know what happened, but it happened that way. So you can go in thinking that, like, you know, this is not going to work. Like I've auditioned for 16-year-olds. Like I don't.
For real.
But yeah, 100%. Recently, yeah.
Because most people think that if it's not their age bracket, they won't even try. Well, now you're enlightening us now.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, like I said, once you hit that Facebook group or agent, whatever, just fire them off.
Yeah, King of Dallas, he asked you, how many people judge you? How many people grade? Like he's saying judge, basically, on the audition.
Yeah, cool. So what's up, King? How's it going? Honestly, I've been in a couple of rooms where it's myself, the reader, so the person feeding you the opposite lines, and the person working the camera. I've been in rooms where there's even like four or five people in it. Yeah. Another role that I had booked for a TV show, the director was sitting there. Wow. The actual director of the show. I had no idea. And that was one there where it was a slight detail in the character description that had said that the family was from New Jersey. So I walked in with like a little bit of a sal that I do, like the New York type of thing, right? And I lightened it a little bit, and basically I didn't even realize it until I booked it after that he was the one sitting in the room, and I went in with my gut and I did that, and it worked. And
so you got to be ready for anything. Anybody could be watching. Be ready for anything.
And don't be afraid to
Steven Spielberg could be in the back eating a muffin, checking you out. Like, you don't know, right?
You don't know, and don't be afraid to try. I mean, don't go crazy, but don't be afraid to try things. 100%, even at your self tape at home or whatever it may be. Yeah. So yeah.
So Matthew, we went really a lot on the auditions there, but it's very interesting. So I don't. Which actors inspire you, Matthew?
Good question. I like how you wrote actors with an S, because normally it's like, who's your favorite actor? I can't decide. Like, what's your favorite food? I don't know. I like eating a whole bunch of things. Actors, I mean, so Tom Hardy, for one, is fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, I know I'm not going with like big blockbuster names, but like when you look at their work, it's just it's phenomenal. Mike Myers is awesome because of the fact that I can see what he does in my stuff, right? Because of like the multiple characters that he played in different, in his movies. And, Dave Chappelle is also great because he also did the Chappelle Show where he also played different characters and stuff. So it's just, there's just so many, there's so many actors that are just great out there. What's his name? The guy from Django.
Not Samuel Jackson.
Not Samuel.
Jamie Foxx.
No? Not Jamie Foxx. The what do you call it? The guy who saves him.
I didn't watch that movie. I just know that either Jamie Foxx was in there or.
He was Inglourious Bastards. He was the German. I forgot his name. Here you go. Christoph Waltz.
Okay, Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz, fantastic. I've probably seen his scene in Inglourious Bastards where he's eating the strudel.
Yeah.
And he puts the salt, the sugar in his coffee. Like I've watched that probably like 1,000 times. Yeah. And also the whole cast of The Sopranos. Love The Sopranos.
Yeah, listen, The Sopranos, every year that goes by, it becomes more and more legendary. Did you notice that?
100%.
I didn't know, Matthew, that like, okay, here in Montreal, we go crazy for it. In New York, they go crazy. In New Jersey, anywhere where there's Italians, they go, it's a legend. You understand?
Yeah.
It's like, it's something I realized later on.
Yeah, 100%. Jerry, what's going on?
It's my brother, by the way, Jerry. He's a big fan. He said, I'm coming for sure tonight because Matthew's coming.
Awesome. How's it going, Jerry?
Listen, so you're an actor, but you're also a content creator. And that's something that people have to understand. Yeah. So take us through the creative process of your videos. How long does it take to make the video, edit, put it up, the whole package?
Okay, I'll give the shortened version. So for a full-on skit, I guess we'll say, is come up with the idea first, then I'll write the script. Once the script is done, then I'll get it filmed. So we'll film it. And then once it's filmed, then I edit, prepare the post, and then it goes out. So that's like the easy breakdown steps. How the ideas come about, I get this question a lot. You know, sometimes I don't even know. I'll be walking and like, wow, that's great. A lot of the times as well, it's like we'll be having this conversation, we'll be talking, and then something happens. We're like, I don't know, something happens, and then right away my brain takes that and just goes on a tangent and like, okay, brother doing in this situation, no, Martin talking about it would be funnier, and then we just take it through there. And or I try to make stuff that's as relevant as possible, right? Like now there's a whole like vaccine thing that's going on, COVID and everything. So try to make things as relevant as possible because that's what really sticks.
Yeah.
So,
guys, by the way, Matthew has not only Instagram where he has the reels, he has a lot of great content, but he also has YouTube, guys. This is like honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you. He's one of the rare guys that consistently uploads on Instagram and YouTube. And it works. Like, it just works. Like, it's great. But you have to be consistent, right? And that's what you do. Like, it's just phenomenal. You know, like,
consistency is huge. Right now, I'm trying my best. So it's Instagram, it's YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Like TikTok is another one that, like, you know, whoever's not on it should be on it because the growth on there is nuts. Like someone today, I was just scrolling a little bit and I landed on this page. This girl posted a video. I was like, okay, cool. It was funny. Swiped up to her account.
Yeah.
She had that only video, had 6.6 million views, and she was at 100,000 followers. Like, just
I know. I saw today there was a girl in her pool. She doesn't even talk. She's very good looking, but she doesn't even talk. She's already at 50K. You know what I mean? Like, it's nuts, and that's where everybody is now. Everybody's on TikTok. People don't realize that a lot of people are still on the hating period of TikTok. Like, no, it can't be. Well, I'm telling you right now, when you watch the Euro Cup, on the side there's a big banner that says TikTok.
Saw it exactly, TikTok. No, it's definitely here. It's
here to stay for sure.
It's here to stay, or here to stay, and then eventually it's going to develop. Like now, you're allowed 3-minute videos on there, which is great for my videos because they tend to be a little bit longer in the 2-minute, 3-minute range. So it makes my life a little easier. And but I mean, it's anything could go crazy on there. It's The
algorithm is much different, but it's crazy. It's like, trust me, if you find the right recipe, you could just keep making the same type of videos and hit it hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So listen, now the cornerstone of your content is your different characters that you do, right?
Yeah.
We all know Martin with the Champlain Bridge. It's a classic, right?
The Champlain Bridge.
It took off on YouTube. Like I was freaking out. Holy cow, you know?
Yeah.
Also, we got Sal, the mafioso Sal. You have Kekatso with the Kekatso hat.
Yeah.
And you have also Brother, obviously, for Totally Forecast. So how did you come up with each of these guys?
All right. So Brother, let's just say I went to school with a lot of brothers. I grew up in the East End, so that came from that. Martin was, I grew up watching a lot of Tête à Claque. So like that was super funny. It's Bob Graton, I think, is his name too. Like
Elvis Graton, I think.
Is Elvis Graton?
Yeah.
Elvis Graton, exactly. So just like a whole bunch of like, and I mean obviously growing up Quebec too. Like you speak in English, speak in French, you hear the accent, that kind of stuff. Actually, Martin wasn't Martin beforehand. I've mentioned this a couple of times. It was actually Sylvain the Scientist.
Oh yeah,
with the same accent.
Okay.
Character wasn't sticking, so basically the elections were coming along back in 2018, and I just said, you know what, a character that would be running for the mayor of the city or the premier, whatever it was, would be great, and let's just call him Martin. That's it. Yeah. And we did it, and then it stuck from day one, and he's been great. Sal is just my way of channeling Tony Soprano. Love The Sopranos.
Okay.
It's just my way of doing that and like acting like him, I guess you could say, but with my own little twist. Kekatso is just some rapper guy, and like you see them all over the place today, right? Like the wannabe rappers, they're trying, but they're going with the bling and this and that. So it's
okay. So you're personifying that basically.
Yeah, basically, trying to make things that are relevant that people can kind of like, oh, I know a guy like that, or I know someone like this, So Okay, wait, sorry, Jerry. By the way, Matthew, the cop character with the cross-eyed inspired by based on Matthew Coach Hines. I love that guy, 100%. So he's a new character, I guess, that I kind of like brought in. But Coach Hines is great. I grew up like watching Coach Hines.
Yeah, he's the best,
fantastic character. A lot of people were saying it also. It's Chris Farley. When I watch Chris Farley, I can see the resemblance, but I didn't know about Chris Farley before someone mentioned it. But it's for me, it's basically 100% Coach Hines. It's just so funny. I love his characters, and it's just my kind of way of like channeling that and bringing that.
So that it became your niche, like the channeling different characters. And you know what's amazing, Matt? I'm going to say one thing: having the Fratelli Forecast, having Martin, having these guys. It's beautiful. It's golden because the thing is, you don't even have to come up with what content am I going to do. You already know I'm going to do Martin, but I'll talk about whatever is going on now. Understand?
Yeah.
It's like it gives you instant content. It's just like
it's just I guess you can say, and I mean the best compliment I think I've received is just someone saying, well, two of them. Number one would be like I love how like when I see Brother, it's Brother. When I see Martin, like even though it's all you, they all are like different. Like I see them as different people, right? So as an actor, that is like one of the highest compliments you can give because you can receive. Sorry, because that's the goal, right? It's not to be like, okay, he's playing all the same character. We know that. It's to really like when you're watching it, you forget that it's all the same person, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the other thing was I was doing a video with Sal and Brother. And then my father's friend was like, your son is the one playing Sal? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's great. And his friend, too, that's playing that other guy is doing a good job, too. And I was like, no, it's the same person. And like that, again, it's comments like that they hit home and they're nice.
So you realize that, like, you're doing the acting, but you also want to do your own thing, right?
Yeah.
So like a lot of people, they got to realize, like, it doesn't you don't get gigs like every single day. It's not like coming at you like a hurricane, whatever. But I'm saying you got to do your own thing because you don't want to just be there waiting, right?
100%. So that was my thing. So again, 3 years ago when I got into this, it was basically I said, okay, I need a demo reel. I don't have work. No one is gonna give me a job because I don't have work. So it's like, where do you start? It's almost like coming out of school, right? It's like, I did schooling, but I don't have any experience. People are trying to look for experience. So you're kind of in that sort of thing. So I said, you know what? I'm a big, huge fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's the one I saw one of his permission videos.
I love that guy, bro.
Gary V is like I mention his name to everybody because it was late one night. I think I was studying or something, and I saw his permission video, and he's like, "Whose permission are you waiting for to do that thing?" He's like, "You gotta excuse the language. Like you got a bullshit job, but so quit it." He's like, "You can always get another bullshit job," and it's like, "Fuck, he's right," So sorry, can we swear on the podcast? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool.
As long as you don't talk about religion or like politics.
No. I stay away from that. So we're good. But and that's when I quit the job, quit my work, and just dove straight into this. And he's just so gung-ho and focused on social media. So that's what I did. I said, you know what? I'm going to make my own Instagram just as a demo reel to do my own stuff, to get out there to people. And it did. It got me a couple of gigs here and there directly through Instagram. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, you know what? I'm not getting the work. So you know what? I am going to make my own work. So now when I'm doing commercials for companies, it's almost similar to actually getting booking commercials that through an acting gig or something. But I'm creating my own work. I'm creating it. Like I want to do that stuff, and that's what I'm doing.
Do you think that your social media presence helps you when you got to go to the audition? People say, "Oh my God, that's Matthew." No, doesn't. Really?
I'm going to say smaller gigs, like for example, Transformers that comes, they don't care about my something thousand. Yeah, no, 100%. No, but I'm a big believer that eventually that's going to start to change. That they're going to look for. I mean, already, like when you look at the Super Bowl, how many influencer TikTok people were in Super Bowl ad commercials? Those are big commercials.
Well, I know Charlie D'Amelio was at I don't know if it was a basketball game or something.
There was a couple of other ones in there, and again, these are people who got hired through like TikTok, right? Because of their presence on TikTok. So like people will say, "Oh, it doesn't matter." Like acting and like the art and all that kind of stuff. It's not through social media. I don't think like again, like radio was the thing back then. Then TV came and it's like, oh, TV isn't here now. The internet's here, so it's like I believe that it's gonna make a difference eventually. So I have people now auditioning, like asking for auditions, but also asking for their Instagram stuff in my case, it's great because there's my demo reel. There's my real demo reel. Would you still do like not background, the extra work, or are you at the point where it's like no, if I don't get a role, doing extra work tomorrow. Actually, it's
so you're still down to do the extra because I hear some actors that have experience. I'm not doing extra work. I'm only gonna go there if I have a role. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ange, I love the podcast so far and the questions and the content that you're asking me so far. This is great.
I'm hitting the nerve, eh?
You're hitting it definitely because I remember back then when I was doing background work and I was taking everything and anything, and I told myself the only way I'm gonna stop doing background work is when I don't have time for it, or if the time on doing background work, if there's more money in something else that I also love to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you ask me, like, Matt, we're gonna go wash cars for $50 an hour all day, but then you're like, Matt, but you could be background work for $28 an hour. I'm gonna take the background work because I like that better, right? So
and you could also meet God knows who, right?
Exactly. That's the thing people forget is that you meet people. Fellow background people, you meet, people in the directors or whatever it may be. So, I mean, it's you never know who you're going to meet. And what happens too is that sometimes that day you got to look and the director's like, yeah, bump him up, give him a line or two. And
exactly. I have a friend, he does background work and he was on the one with Shia LaBeouf, The Greatest Game Ever Played. They needed a reporter and they look at him like, you could do the role of a reporter. And then he got it and he got like a crazy pay and everything. But I mean, he got to meet, what's his name? I forgot the director there, but he met Shia LaBeouf, the director. It was a director that passed away. He was the director of that movie. He's a big guy, but he passed away. So you never know. At the end of the day, you never know. You have to keep doing it. And you got to pay the bills too, right? Like you got to do something, right? Especially if you're doing this full time. You got to take what you could get.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And that's it. Like, there's the whole saying out there where people will say like, you could do like, don't do background work because then people are going to label you as a background work performer. I mean, if you want to think that, fine. But I mean, I'm like, no, like I don't, the only in which case, you could do background on a TV show so many times and then actually go for a role, but then they'll look at you, they'll be like, no, but I've seen him in the background before, so it doesn't make sense with the story. That's where I can say, I guess there's like causes a problem, but like to be labeled as a background.
Do people even remember that? You think they're gonna remember that you're in the background of Lassie or whatever?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Really? But it's not only that; it's because you're on set with these faces, right? So actually, when I got my role on Blood and Treasure, which is the police officer one, I had done background work on Blood and Treasure a good like 6-7 times. So 6-7 days. Wow. Where you see the director's face, the production assistant, all that kind of stuff, the producer's face and everything. And then after you show up and now you're really in their face because they're working with you one-on-one as an actor. And it's almost like, but I've seen you before.
And they get a bit, the jealousy starts to set in. And what are you doing there?
Not even the jealousy, just kind of like I've seen you before. Why? It's like, I did background work. Well, it's like, okay, but wait, now like now you're a role, but you were doing background work. So, you were a soldier, but now you're playing the role of a doctor. So it's like, what happened there, sort of thing, So I guess it could happen, but I mean, at the same time, like just you're looking for experience, you're looking for work, and I'd say go for it, like 100%.
We have a question from Huge Erection. Okay.
Yes.
He says, "Is it hard to become?"
That's good.
Is it hard to be an actor?
Listen to that.
It's a good one, eh?
Yeah.
Is it hard to be an actor?
Is it hard to become? Is it hard to become an actor?
Yeah.
Is
it hard to become?
Is it hard to become? Yeah. Sure, there's some supplements you could take that helps you become an actor. No, I'm kidding. Yes, and
it's a tough question, eh? Like
it is a tough question. So yeah, like if I'm gonna say, like if you're gonna want to hit like Hollywood, California, and be in these big blockbuster movies,
Hype House and TikTok or whatever.
Like it's acting in terms of like I'll call it real acting for now, but it's all acting. It's difficult because you got to be seen in front of people. Is it easier than it was back then? 100%, because you can reach through social media. You can reach Martin Scorsese. He has Instagram. Absolutely. You can reach big players who have Instagram. And then they might just give you a shot. So is it hard? It's still very difficult. But if it was easy, like everyone would be doing it, right? I mean, we've heard all that before. But yeah, like if it is it easier now to do acting in your own I guess, place. And on the smaller level, I think so. I think social media has made it a little bit easier, I'm going to say. So, yeah.
We're going to rummage through the next few questions here. How is acting in Montreal different from elsewhere?
Okay, good question. I don't know how to actually answer that properly because I haven't been really acting elsewhere. I can compare it to Toronto. So I've been saying this like crazy lately. For every like one job in Montreal, there's like 10 in Toronto.
Yeah.
If you look on a site like Mandy, which is like smaller level, I would say gigs, for every one Montreal posting that there is, there's like 20, 30 Toronto gigs, 100%. So I would say Montreal is good, but because of the whole language thing, it hurt every industry possible. I'm not gonna get into politics, but it hurt every industry, especially the I would say, well, not especially the acting. It hurt every industry, I would say. Yeah. But like I think there's more gigs elsewhere. But then again, in Montreal, there's also a lot that is happening here. We have two great, two that I know of, really big production places, Mel's and I forgot the other one, but yeah.
So most of the big movies are at Mel's Cinema, right?
Most of the big ones are Mel's. There's another one too that I forgot, but there's quite a bit that are filming here. Mm-hmm. But Toronto again has big one. Vancouver is actually the main hub in Canada. So
really, okay, I thought it was Toronto.
No. So it's Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna ask something, Matthew. Yeah. At what point do you believe that people should have actor, or like you need to have like a guy like me, let's say, that just wants to start with extra work? At what point do I need to be an extra member?
Okay, so what I'm going to say, so I'm an ACTRA member. Am I a fan of ACTRA? No. The reason being is because so in your case, you can do ACTRA work and you can do non-union work. So any other gigs. When you become an ACTRA member, so when you become an ACTRA member, you cannot do non-union gigs anymore.
Okay.
You're only allowed to do ACTRA gigs. Which doesn't make any sense to me because the goal here is to get as much work as you can. And there are a lot of non-union gigs that pay really well and that are great experience for you. So why, as a union who's supposed to be protecting their actors, not allow actors to do the work, and I get it. It's like, okay, they don't always follow the codes and the regulations and you're supposed to get a break and everything. Listen, I'm going to work. I don't care if my water is lukewarm when it's supposed to be cold or whatever. Like I'm here to work.
Is the food good on set? Like, what do they have? Paninis?
No, there's food. There's supposed to be snacks and stuff. Like, I'll run to fucking McDonald's to get myself a snack. Like, I'm here to work. If I'm filming all day, I'm filming all day. That's my mentality, right? But then, and that's kind of it. Like, ACTRA, you got to pay the dues and everything. And I don't know. I'm just not a very big fan of ACTRA, I guess. So
really?
So do you need it right away? I would say so. In my case, I got into ACTRA right away, pretty much within a year, and I wish it would have came just a bit later because I would have been able to hit those non-union jobs and get more. Put it this way, it's a rare occasion, but you get your first 3 gigs, or you do like 10 things of work. You get your ACTRA credits, and then you can't do non-union work anymore. There's so many gigs out there that you can't do.
So it's like go big or go home once you have action.
I've seen like Nissan commercials looking for actors that are paying $5,000 to the actor, but it's non-union. So I can't apply to that. You get 5 Gs, man. I can't apply to that. It's Nissan. Like, what do you think? A production set's going to be mom and pop? The guy's going to show up with his Nokia there and start filming. Like, no, it's just gonna, like it's a production. Like it's, because it's non-union, you kind of like. Get the fuck out of here, man.
For that much, they could do only non-union. I can't believe you. You're enlightening me today.
Yeah, it's crazy. And don't get me started on the union. I get heated up, and it's
But I mean, when you're a big-time actor, you need it, right? You have to have it.
You need a good agent who's going to negotiate for you and push and pull your way and stuff. That's what I would say. The union, I don't know. Personally, I don't know what they're there for. They negotiate rates.
It's like my union. I'm asking the same thing.
When you get into the union, your background work jumps from like, I think it's 13.50. So it's minimum wage when you're non-union to do background work. And then when you get into the union, I think it's like $28 an hour or something.
What?
Plus there's like time and a half and all that kind of stuff. So that's the only reason right now that I like background work.
Okay.
Sorry, no. Sorry, that I like the union.
Actra,
Exactly. It's the only reason why. But yeah, because like non-union, I still do non-union, non-paid stuff if I have the time.
Okay.
So because I
wait, you still do non-paid gigs, commercials.
Sorry, I do non-paid stuff. So like I do like short films. I know Teresa was in here before.
Yeah. You did the movie with short
exactly.
film. Yeah.
But it's such a great opportunity.
Fool Me Once when Anthony Lee show.
We did. It was Fool Me Once, Mate and Date, and The Gift. Right.
How does that help you when you do short films? How does it help your exposure?
It gives me screen time. I need screen time. Right. Like Instagram is great. Instagram works, but I'm coming up with my own stuff. Right. So it's nice when you audition for someone or,
something tangible.
They give you the gig and it's professionally filmed with other people. Like it looks real and it is real. Yeah. And you need, for an actor, you need that in your demo reel. Real stuff. Mm-hmm. Real stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So Matthew, you saw there was a couple of trolls coming in, but I mean, how do you do it? Well, I wouldn't say trolls, just people like to joke around, whatever. Yeah. It's all cool, by the way.
For sure.
You saw the other guy that came in, right?
Which other guy?
He has a request, okay? Jack Inoff. He said, "Hey Matthew, I love your videos. Would you mind saying my name with your brother voice?"
well, because you guys are like getting like more intelligent with these names, bro, right? Like it's pretty spot, bro.
Oh my god!
What is huge H erection, whatever his name was, bro? But like solid, like you took time for this, huh? So I'm gonna say it because you're Spack. But what is it? It's Jack Enoff. All right, boom. Jack Enoff is like solid, right?
Oh my god, that was amazing. So how do you deal with haters, critics, people that stop what you're doing?
Yeah, you don't listen to them. You forget them. You put them in the back, and you continue driving. They're fun, but you know what? They're there to balance things out because when everything is too good and everyone is like, oh my god, you're great and all that kind of stuff. You need some there to kind of like bring you back down and kind of balance things out.
Right. Matthew, when somebody comes in to be disrespectful, like you can tell they're not a fan, they're just there to make fun, whatever, any kind of stuff. To me, I love it. It shows that there's somebody that's a butthurt, there's somebody that's jealous, there's somebody that they wanna put you down, and it's like I have very thick skin, so I'm not worried. You know what I mean? And to me, it pushes me. It literally pushes me. At the beginning, for sure. At the beginning, I did the opposite. I used to provoke. I used to take it in, and now I'm like, you know what? I love it because I could deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You really gotta I analyze. I don't stick with it too much. I analyze. I remember it was a year and a half ago. I was doing lives every Sunday, not the forecast before. The first ones were cool, that kind of stuff. It really it helped me work on my improv because it was literally like, I'd go on there and then kind of like this. Like people would, and I tell people, give me a character and a situation, and I'm gonna do it on the spot, right? Yeah. And those were great. And then after a couple of them, it was I don't know who it was. It was some people that were like, "Oh, bro, you're washed. You're done," and all that kind of stuff.
You're washed up like a baseball player.
Well, exactly. So do I like? Oh my god, am I washed? Am I? Mind you, this was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, so you start to think about this,
right? But I'm just not that I think about all that kind of stuff because again, this was 2 years ago. So if things are still going well, then it's if I would have listened to them and stopped, that would have been bad, right?
Yeah.
But that's it, But then again, you analyze like, okay, wait a minute, like washed in terms of what? Like, is it the lives that are not as good anymore? Then you start looking at then it forces you to go look at the numbers and you start analyzing things like, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, maybe not the lives anymore. Maybe let's make them shorter. With the forecast, it's like, it's going to be 2 years at the end of this year that I'm doing the forecast every Sunday, minus maybe one or two of them. But there's only so many ways I can say, bro, it's moist outside. Like that joke is washed. It's overused, 100%. Yeah. But what do? You change the format. So, they were first of all they were only a minute. Then they started getting a bit longer. Then they were like 2 minutes and a half, 3 minutes long. Too long, okay, great. Then you do lives. Lives were 15 minutes, but more interacting with people. It worked for a couple of weeks. Then people got tired of it. Okay, great. Now reels are popping. So let's do 30 seconds. I got people just yesterday that are saying, it's too short. We want longer. Really? But then when I did them longer, it was like, it's boring. It's, I got people telling me the forecast, it's not funny anymore. But you know what's funny? That people actually just watch the forecast for the weather. Melanie, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Melanie, big shout out to her. She's here. She actually came. I met her through Nick Messina. Like I said, Nick Messina is a great guy, guys.
Nice.
What can I say? Like, I could do another podcast talking about how amazing Nick Messina is.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I get everything you're saying, Matthew. And like in my last almost 2 years now on social media, there, trust me, like at the beginning, you see people are gonna follow you through other people.
Yeah.
They hang on, and then you see the one that cracks. You see the ones like that are true, right? Like.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the ones that are big fans of you, they'll always be big fans of you. You know what I mean?
And I'm truly grateful for the, like, I see some that were there. Geez, when I had 100 followers, 200 followers, with the random characters back then, and it's super cool to see that they stuck around. Yeah. Some people come on for a month or two, and then it gets boring, and they're like,
people come and go. That's what I could say.
100%.
Sure. And it could be they're busy with their kids, they're busy at school. They're not into the stuff you do anymore. It could be anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always say your biggest haters were your biggest fans. Oh. Some of your biggest haters were your biggest fans.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it a lot, and I'm noticing it true.
Some people don't like change, right? When you change up a format, it's like, oh, forget it. I don't know. Some people are only there for the Martin videos. Like, I like Martin. All the other ones are shit. Okay.
Yeah, but you're being 100% honest. It's amazing.
And that's what it is. Like, I need to know that. It's like, you know what? Like your Borat impression is good. Okay, cool. But we don't want that. We like your characters. Okay, that's good. I need to hear that, right? Like, it's not just like, oh, like funny. Your videos are funny. It's like I need to hear the, that's what it is. Laisse tomber les what? Laisse tomber les filles.
Ross said, "Laisse tomber les filles." He was playing a song on his story. I don't know what he's talking about that.
Les filles or les fils?
Les filles.
Okay, the girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Matthew, obviously another, I would say, strong point, another big success was your role on Joe and Mary's wedding. You were the groom, which is the biggest part. It's arguably, right? It's one of the groom and the bride. Yeah. I want to know, how was it? Yeah. How was it at Joe and Mary? I want to know, what was the vibe? Is this something that I definitely missed out on?
Being like acting as the groom. So I guess you could say it's the biggest part because that's the face. It's Joe and Mary. So I'm Joe. I was Joe, and so basically, But I like in the actual thing, I think Nick had more lines than me, and I was like, damn it, I want more lines. I want to back more. But honestly, in my end, like I'm a very big people person. Okay. So like I took the the lower amount of lines for like. So basically, the way the show went on is we got introduced, we came in, we danced for a little bit, then there was like segments, right? And then before that went along with the meals, right? So a meal came in, then we braked and all that. Then we braked. We braked? Is that the word, bro? I'm like forgetting how to speak like English alliteration here. Anyway, but honestly, for me, it was fun because I really got to interact with people one-on-one. It wasn't like I was on a stage. It wasn't a typical play, right? Mm-hmm. When I had my lines to say, I was on a stage and I spoke to people. But then when we sat down to eat, it was like I ate before the show. I'm not eating. Take my food. No. Oh, I ate before the show. Okay. Maybe I'll have like an olive or whatever it is, right? Then I would run off the stage and I'd go around and talk to the tables. Hey, how's it going? You guys like the show? This is not like I'm Joe, right? So how you guys doing? Thank you for coming to the wedding. And this is not joke around and everything. That's the part that I love the most. We did the tarantella part there with like not tarantella. I forgot the song with the flag. I'd go around with the tables, jump on the chairs and with them and stuff. So that was like you had to bring like a high energy to it, and that was something that I'm glad I got to experience. Yeah. So
to you went there, you had your game face on. It was like work to you. It wasn't like I'm gonna go feast and go to a bar. It was like work. Like I'm going there. Yeah. I'm gonna go say hi to the people, whatever, see how they're doing, and and do my role. I don't want to forget everything, right? Like, is it hard to remember all these roles? Because it's a party too, right? So it's like,
it's a party. Again, I didn't have many lines. For the Montreal one, I kind of even almost came up with my lines a little bit. So like, it was, I personally don't drink often on a personal level. But then especially like for me, that's work. So I don't drink when I'm working, especially.
Yeah.
So
So,
I mean, if someone came around with like a shot or whatever, like I'd reject. But if they were really pushy, then I take it. But I'm driving home too after, right? Like there's no limo taking me home to like Bahamas or something. Anyway. Yeah, no, it was like for me, it was professional, and it was like you're there to do the job and give people a show, which is what they wanted to see.
And it was like I mean, with the bride, like I didn't see these shows. I don't think I found it on YouTube. I mean, I don't know if it's available on YouTube. But like, is it really
little segments?
Is it like you got to be romantic with the bride too? Like, was there just like?
Yes. So with the bride, Kaylee, she no, there were moments where Stevie, the producer, was like, okay, like it would be good if you guys, and I mean it's a wedding, right? So people, an Italian wedding. So when they start banging on the glasses there, right? You gotta kiss, but that's as far as like as a wedding.
It's acting. It's part of the role.
100%. It's acting, right? It's what needs to be, whether it's a live show, whether it's a commercial, whether it's whatever it may be, right? So
like my question would be maybe not about this, but maybe about acting. Is there a limit to what they could tell you to do? Was there something like, no, I'm not gonna do it? Like, you know what I mean? Is there a limit?
I mean, yes. It really depends on what they want. I mean, normally it'll be like either suggested nudity. So nudity like that you, for example, you're like behind a shower, glass shower, so like they can kind of like you're naked, but they can kind of make out stuff.
Yeah.
Other thing is maybe if you're intimate with someone that like you can kind of you it looks like you're naked or it looks like you're doing something sort of thing. So I mean, yeah, there's pretty much that. But those I think happen on like bigger. Again, it really depends on the movie, right? So or commercial.
But there hasn't been a moment where he's like, no, I can't do that. Like, you know what I mean?
There was a moment. Actually, it was one of my first gigs ever through Instagram where there's a girl who wanted me to act out her book, and her book was in a very like intimate style thing.
Erotica,
kind of. But then I didn't feel very comfortable, and I was like, you know what? No, I guess my first thing, and I'm not too sure, because a lot of times on the sets it's very like I had to film. I filmed a role at one point for a French TV show where we were reenacting a true story that happened where a girl was molested or like whatever you want to say, and I was playing one of the guys who did it, right?
Are you kidding?
So we're on a closed set, is what it's called, where there's the actors, the girl, the actors, the camera guy. Like I don't even think the director's there. Like director comes in after, and then the girl who gives the clothing back to the girl actress. So it's very, very, very like it's
very real. It's very real.
It's very tough scene. Like she's screaming, we're there, and all that kind of stuff, doing our stuff, and like there's just a mutual respect. And when people have to get dressed after, whatever it may be, and like it's so.
Yeah. By the way, do you highly suggest acting classes, or is it something that you could just go without?
Good question. So like I said, when I was younger, I did do theater. This time around, when I restarted, I did take acting classes with Susanna Lanier, actually, for I think it was about 2-3 months. On-screen acting, and then I kind of stopped. For me, like people say, you got to practice your craft every day. I do believe that is true, but my Instagram allows me to do that, right? I'm constantly like, thinking about like different ways of acting and call me crazy, but I do that a lot on my own as well. Like when I'm alone in the apartment, if I think of something or I think of a movie and I try to reenact it by myself, like that's me practicing sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, do I suggest acting classes? I think so. Like if you haven't done it, it kind of breaks the ice. You get to meet people who are kind of like-minded, and it gives you a different perspective as well. So I think acting courses are definitely good. Are they necessary? Not for everybody.
Okay.
I would say that. Like you see some actors. I think it was what's his name, who played in Breaking Bad, the Aaron Paul, who played what was it?
I didn't watch Breaking Bad, actually. People that throw tomatoes on it.
Paul, when he went for the audition, they had interviewed him, and they're like, how did you prepare? Did you take acting classes? He's like, no. He's like, I don't know. Acting to me is like they ask you to be someone else, so you just pretend to be somebody else. Like very straightforward.
For example, Will Smith from Prince of Bel-Air, acting. He had no acting experience. He got the role.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it could very well be about luck.
Because the other thing too, especially for like a TV show, like I get like there's acting and like maybe like, but sometimes if it's just you, like the way you look and the way you are, you could be a character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Like you, the way you are right now, you could be a character on the show.
Yeah.
On whatever show, just you. Like, I like the way you look. I like the way you sound. You know, we'll tweak a couple of things and that's it, sort of thing. So, yeah.
He's asking where you could sign up for your acting classes. Would you consider doing acting classes?
For Matthew Tree's acting classes? Not really, because I'm not gonna. Like, I can give it. Like, I'm planning, so that's something that's gonna come up soon. Is I keep wanting to do like a YouTube show that's completely different than my sketches.
Okay.
Where I just answer questions and kind of give advice, because I didn't have any advice when I first started, and that story is a little like.
But a live or a pre-recorded show?
No, pre-recorded. So like once a week, I answer questions that I get from my Instagram and Facebook, questions that people want to know, and then any upcoming projects. Okay, cool, yeah.
So that's basically what I wanted to get to, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 100%. So it's pretty much like a YouTube show that is really focused on that. And then tips, you know, like how to find an acting agent in Montreal, what you can expect from like what is a normal like percentage, or because like that too gets a bit tricky sometimes, you know. You
see, Matthew, I had to have you on to find these things out. Imagine. So if it was available on YouTube, I think it would help out a lot more people. You know what I mean?
100%. And that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm trying again. A big Gary Vee thing is give more than you take, and that's one thing. Like, I want to provide value. That's one thing I think on YouTube. Like, the skits work on YouTube and they're good. Mario, thank you very much.
He also works with me, Mario. Yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, and just provide like a different type of. It's gonna be a different type of thing, but I'm looking forward to that. So any other upcoming projects?
DJ Bernardo also says he's looking forward to that advice.
Okay, so sure. Awesome. Yeah, it's something I do want to get started with that, and then like some other things too, like on the back end, like maybe focus on more like production stuff on my own end. So like actually doing like producing commercials for companies, and yeah, so I mean.
Also, Rocket said, "Would you ever fly to Tokyo to give him an autograph?"
Okay, well, you know what? I might be next year. I might be in Hong Kong next year, so we'll see, and around there. Yeah.
Be careful, bro. Bring a shield over there.
No. We're all good. Girlfriend wants to take me there, so I'm excited.
Yeah. So, what are your most memorable and least memorable moments in your career?
Okay. Most memorable.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, like one of them is definitely the Champlain Bridge video. The reason why is because it led to my first being in an article. So I was in the Gazette. My picture was on the front page. I still have it here actually.
With Bill Brownstein or something. No?
With Bill Brownstein, yeah. So that was like, I came home. I told my mom, like, Ma, I'm on the front cover of the Gazette, and I didn't have to kill anybody, so we're great.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and so like that was really. I remember like it was the springtime, and like I was running outside to the dépanneurs to try to get I didn't know where it was, and I wanted to get that physically, like my hand on it, right? My hands on one, and so I was running all over the place to get it, and like that was definitely a memorable moment. Another memorable moment is probably my first audition ever when I was a kid was for a McDonald's commercial. I got the lines and I wasn't sure. I was a kid. I was maybe 11, 12. Okay. And it was for the Olympics. And basically I had to be sitting down with a bunch of other kids, and we're at McDonald's, and I'm taking out the fries, and I'm like, you know, this fry is for Sidney Crosby, the best hockey player ever. And then we bite the fry, and I take out another fry. This one goes to Michael Jordan, or you know, like whatever it is. And okay, great. I was there. I walk in, and it was in French. So I walk in, and I'm there sitting with other kids too. First audition ever. I was nervous as hell, shaking and like really nervous. So they're there, the camera's like directly in your face, and I'm like, okay, great. So I take out the thing, like it was a fake, like take it out, and I blank.
Are you kidding me?
And then he's like, okay, restart. He's like, okay, oh my God, sorry. And I redid it. And then it was okay. He's like, look, if you can't remember the names, no problem. Just use like your family number, your family members. I couldn't even think of family members. I'm just pulling it. I'm like, oh my God. And it was just, I was so nervous. And obviously I didn't get it, but yeah, like that was like one of my moments where I was like.
So I think this leads off to a good question. What qualities make a successful actor?
You know, consistency, tough skin and
hustle. If
hustle.
you're not, look, at the end of the day, if you're not hustling, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's right there. Hustle.
Yeah.
100%. You know, consistency, like constantly practicing. Look, if when you say what makes you a successful actor, that works for anything. Makes you a successful model, makes you a successful painter, makes you a successful lawyer. You got to constantly be practicing the stuff, like your craft, right?
Yeah.
And you got to enjoy it, right? Like that's one thing. You got to enjoy it, and you got to just, you know. And I also think
you can't do it for the money. You cannot do it for the money, right?
No, you can't do it for the money, and for anything for that matter. You got to sincerely enjoy it, right? So I think that's what, that's what I think I would say.
How do you balance all this, Matthew? All of the stuff that you do, like the content, the filming, answering people, going on podcasts. By the way, I have back maybe a year ago, you went on a lot of podcasts. I noticed, you did a big turn. And then for a while, you haven't really been on podcasts.
Yeah, well, it just so happens that now this one will come out, and then tomorrow I'll get hey, I want you to be on my podcast.
Oh yeah, I guarantee, Matthew, you're gonna get an inbox.
Maybe it's possible, but it's whoever wants to have me on their podcast. I'm super down to chat and talk. All I ask is for, like you did, just give me some time in advance. We've had this date for 2 weeks now, I think, over. So I know that this is it. If you tell me my podcast is tomorrow, well, yeah, don't forget it.
No preparation. It's
there's no. For me, it's I plan my weeks almost a week ahead of time always. So it's kind of I kind of know. And then sometimes I'm in Toronto. These are great because you can do them via StreamYard or Zoom or whatever. Mm-hmm. But honestly, the balancing between family, between my girlfriends, between friends, between it's rough. It's hard to kind of get everything done. I'm going to say struggling. I'm trying my best is what I'm going to say to try to give everybody a certain amount of time and everything. So, yeah.
Okay. So you last year, and you said also recently you had fell into a rut of maybe I would say, I wouldn't call it a writer's block. I would just maybe say lost some motivation.
I would. Yeah, I guess you can say that. It's definitely not writer's block. I am knocking on wood or whatever you want to knock on. Super grateful that the content, just the ideas, they fly and they come, and I mean it's great. So I'm very grateful for that. It's just it's a moment where I don't know. It's just I don't feel like doing it, or the things I feel like doing. So my brain, I don't know why it works like this, but if there's something that I know I got to do, but I don't want to do it, I won't allow myself to do anything else until I get that done. But I don't want to do that thing, so I procrastinate. So now nothing gets done, right? So it's just kind of that, and then who was it? Sorry, my brain bounces all over the place.
My question to you is, how did you get out of those ruts?
You just got to start. That's one thing that I've really recently, because it was recently where I went on about a good 3-week rut where nothing was posted, right? And it's just you gotta really you gotta do something to start, right? For example, even today I had a slow morning, and then I got up and I just started washing dishes. I love washing dishes because it gets me doing something, and it's almost like every dish that you wash is a task, accomplishment, right? And then once that's done, it's okay, great. Now what's next? So I forgot who had said this. I'm not sure if it was Louis Hose or I don't remember who it was exactly, but it's things in motion tend to stay in motion. It's like a train. Once you push the train and starts moving, it'll continue moving because it's in motion. And that also works with not doing anything. So when you stop doing something, you tend to be in that stagnant movement.
Inactive. Yeah.
Exactly. You tend to keep on moving that inactive movement, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, right? So it's just literally start doing something, and you'll continue to
because
move.
I saw I don't know if it was your story. You had said I have to be very busy. My mind has to be always going. I'd rather work under pressure than have nothing.
Yeah, that was this past week, right? It's literally that was Thursday, Friday of the week that just passed. And I packed my schedule with just so many things that you're looking at, and you're like, can this all be done? yeah, and then you look at it and you're like, shit, I did do all this, right?
And then you check your DMs, and you have 5 other people that want to collaborate with you or interview. Like, there's always these things coming in, and you try to make everybody happy. But at the end of the day, you get what's humanly possibly done.
Yeah, that's the thing that people have to realize, that something will always lack, right? So I can have a very busy work day, right, where I'm just packed with everything, but which is great. But then there's no family time, there's no spending time with girlfriend, there's no friends, there's no DMs, for example.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, I was answering every DM, and there were moments where I'd stay up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning and clear every single DM. Everyone was answering with voice messages or text. I can't do that now. No. And it hurts because I want to do it, but you can't. And
that's the thing. It's like, that the person at the other end is hurting. Like, that they're like upset, like, but it's like, and then you get to realize it, you're like, oh my God, but it's like, he'll get to it when he does, you know what I mean? It's just, that's the way the world, the cookie crumbles there.
Yeah.
So what advice can you give to somebody who's just starting off as a content creator, maybe even an actor? But I know content creating is a big thing right now. Even Gary Vee said it. He goes, what you got to do is you got to get into content creating. Anything to do with that. Like, even if you're selling thumbnails or anything to do with content creating is just amazing right now. It's going up.
My advice would be to is the consistency, and that's is the consistency, and is what is, and you gotta put in the work right at the beginning. Take care, Jerry. Take care, Mario. You need the consistency, and you need to put on the work. You need to put in the work, because, like, my example, I started March of 2018. March 2018, March 3rd, 2018. And I was about to hit 1,000 followers in September. So that's March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So it's about
on Instagram.
Months. On Instagram, 6-7 months. So in 6-7 months, I was posting about 4 videos a day. Now, they're not the same quality as they are now. They were shorter videos, but 4 videos a day. Like, I would wake up in the morning, lay out the characters, and say, okay, these are the videos I'm going to do today. 4 videos a day for about 6-7 months. And you're about to hit 1,000, and then eventually that one video clicked, and then it skyrocketed from there. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's the consistency. And I mean, in my case, it was like, people are looking at my friends are in university, they're working, and they're like, this guy's like filming little videos of himself at home. It's like, yeah, it's what it is. And that's what I like to do. And it works. So it's just stick with it. Yeah. It's not easy. And again, I've had other, I guess, kids or people write to me and be like, hey, I also want to do what you're doing, and look at my characters and everything. And I'm like, 100%, man, go for it. Like, I'll watch your video. I'll like it. I'll 100%. Because I'm not a big, like, worrier about, like, competition or whatever it is.
Exactly.
There's like, I'm not the only content creator out there, and there was many more before me. There's gonna be many more after me, and I'm just in the mix. Like, it's just
we're in our own lanes, right? We're in our own lanes. I mean, somebody can start tomorrow doing the same thing as me. At the end of the day, you're not me. You know what I mean? A personality can never be copied. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Why can't I do like Nick he does his Messing with Messina's Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Why can't I not do Messing with Matt on Thursday night? Now, I'm not, obviously, I wouldn't do that, because it's like I'm taking his name and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. I wouldn't do that. But
I know what you mean. It's this Montreal thing about, like, territory and everything.
No, it's not even Montreal. Yeah. It's all over the world. But it's like, why can't Thursday night they watch me, and why can't Friday night they watch him? Why can't I do it on Friday night at the exact same time as him, and one week people are watching me and the other week people are watching him? Why not?
I agree with you 100%. And you know what? I used to care about that, but I don't even look at that anymore. I don't care who's doing the same shit as me at the exact same time. I really don't care. You know what I mean? Because you do something that's niche. You know the people that are going to come. You know what I mean?
That's it. Like, there can't be a worry. Like, I posted a short little video tonight. I'm worried now. Like, you're doing your life. You're taking views away from mine. No way. Like, they're gonna watch mine before. They might not watch it at all. It doesn't matter. I put it out there for those who want to watch it, and that's it. Like, that's the mentality. And you keep going, and that's like, focus on the next.
Worry about those things. Forget it.
Like even in the most memorable moment, like the Gazette article. I remember, I picked it up. I read it. I saw it. Came home. Showed my mom. It was great. Next, let's go. I can't sit the week and like, oh, I did it. I'm done. Like, there's no done. You're never done.
But you always want to innovate, because that's always how I started. That's how I started to grow. I started to innovate. I look at like who's a good person to get right now that nobody else had. Like I'm not the type that's gonna be like, let me get that guy that you had on a Wednesday. I'm gonna have him the same guy on the Thursday. We're gonna have the exact same conversation. I really don't like. I don't understand that. I really don't understand. I want to have somebody on that it's like nobody had this guy on, or maybe he's not discovered yet. You know what I mean? I love people that are just starting off too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that I see they have potential and everything. Which is somebody that's coming to Thursday, actually, which I'm going to announce in a bit. But he's one of those guys. Now, my last question to you, Matthew. I know you're very busy. Would you consider stand-up comedy? Because I know people told you should do stand-up comedy. Would you do stand-up comedy? And then your answer was, I'm an actor. But I want to know, would you consider it? Yes or no?
Yes. Not really? Right now, but yes. Also, just a quick thing I wanted to put, because I know you were saying like we were talking about before the podcast and all that kind of stuff. One thing, if I can say, and it's not that I'm trying to give advice or anything, but coming from this side of the podcast, the podcastee, the podcast guest, you did a fantastic job with switching up the question.
Yeah,
switching up the questions. I've been on some podcasts before where it's like it's the same questions, which is cool. I try to change it up a little bit, but the different types of questions is really like it makes it more fun for the guest, 100%.
And also, Matthew, you gotta feel comfortable. Like a lot of people want to feel comfortable, like as if they were in the living room. Yeah, like just having a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, like kudos to you. Like you nailed it.
Thank you very much for that.
So yeah,
I appreciate it.
So stand-up comedy. Yes, I was actually supposed to open for Nick Messina.
Yeah, he told me.
Just open for Nick Messina.
At LDV,
exactly, at LDV. And I just, I couldn't, no, I didn't, it wasn't the right time. I didn't feel like doing it. What I do right now is very different than stand-up comedy, right?
Yeah.
Because I film it and I put the characters talking together and stuff, right? So it's, I can't do that on stage. But again, there is like, I do have a format of on stage of like, where like, I could do multiple characters. Like Brother can come on for 15 minutes, Sal can come on for 15 minutes, and Marte can come on for 15 minutes. So that's already 45 minutes, and you got 3 different characters, right? So, we could do that. And then, so I'm not too like I would like to do it.
Yeah.
Eventually, maybe, but
I agree 100% what you're saying, because I'll give you an example. Like now that I started online, obviously because of COVID and stuff like that, but eventually I'm gonna be turning to in-person interviews.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a whole nother ballgame. Now, you could say there's a lot of other people that do that have been there before me that do interviews and they have the experience. They've done it. A lot of the old timers, like what I'm talking about, like
100%,
like people that have the experience doing it. So to me, it's exactly what you're saying about doing the stand-up comedy. The what do you call it? The opening there. It's the same thing, because I'm not going to have these questions in front of me. I'm going to have to remember all the questions. Yeah. It's different when you're with somebody. You're now I'm in my station, I'm in my zone, I'm good. But when you're different angles, like it's just completely different. So that I'm gonna have to get used to too, and I'm ready for the challenge. You know what I mean, Matthew?
Sure.
But for now, I like what I'm doing like this. I love it. That I keep doing what I love. So it's not about what pennies you're gonna make or whatever. To me, I love doing this. I love having somebody that I find interesting, having a conversation, and that's it, dude. You know what I mean? Melanie said, I totally agree. Love this.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie.
My friend in Ukraine, we have a saying about this. A shooting star likes to have a shower in the morning.
Shooting star likes to have.
He's from Ukraine. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, interesting. Listen, just like you were complimenting me, Matthew, honestly, tonight, kudos. You did an amazing job. And I know, guys, it's 9:00. I think the game already started. Go Habs, go. Guys, I got it's 9:00 the game. So it's in the first period for sure. I mean, we all have a duty to watch that game. Yeah. And that's another thing I said. You know what I said? People were saying about the soccer, the hockey. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? I said, look, let's do the podcast at 8. By 9:00, everybody's packed up. You can watch the game,
Exactly.
There you go.
Teresa, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming. You've been amazing. Everybody, I see Teresa's in the building. Thank you for coming, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Share out the video. Tell your friend. Go follow Matthew Giuffrida on Instagram. It's in the description. You can also subscribe to his YouTube channel. Let's get him to 10,000 subscribers. Why? Because it's cool. And you also get the little merch shelf at 10K. So I don't know if you knew
cool. I didn't even know that.
You get the merch shelf under your video. So
cool.
And once you get to 10K, apparently there's like a snowball effect and you grow much faster.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But lives is something you really have to do on YouTube to really get that boost. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It depends. If you're in gaming, especially.
Okay.
I don't know if I could say that with the videos because I know someone that's like she just gives advice to other YouTubers. She blew up. She's like 110,000. She was like me, like very very small, and then boom, right away 110. But she does it really consistently, you know.
Okay, awesome.
So anything is possible, guys. Our next guest is Thursday. We have the very 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 impressive Sergio's Talks. I don't know if you know him, Matthew. Did you hear about this guy?
Sergio's Talks.
He's on TikTok. He sits in his car. He's from Point Claire. He sits in his car and he just does motivational TikToks. Mainly,
I gotta look. Okay, it's Sergio.
I'm sure he was on your For You page.
For sure.
Sergio's Talks. This guy's phenomenal. He does like short. I'm sure on your For You page you went through him and you saw him in his car talking. He just talks about breakups, like how to like forget about that, like learn from your past, let go. Like also dealing with loss. I can't wait to talk. We're talking about mainly breakups. How to deal with breakups. Thursday. So I'm really, really interested for that. 8 o'clock, guys. You know the time. That's it for us tonight, guys. Like I said, Matthew, thank you very much. You've been amazing. Good luck with the rest of your career. Maybe, if I start doing background stuff, maybe I'll run into, who knows? I mean,
for sure. Definitely.
It's a jungle out there, you know?
Exactly. You never know who you're going to run into.
Yeah. Oh, Mike Gatto said, great live show. A huge fan of both of you. Good job.
Mike,
Matthew.
Mike Gatto. I'm
more of a Angelo. Yeah, Angelo
person. More of a face.
He's a bit older than you. I don't know. I'm not sure if you know, but he said he's a big fan of you, so that's great.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Like I said, Dominic DeRosa. Wow, guys, Dominic DeRosa is actually casted for Transformers, and he's the bus driver.
You got Transformers. He was in Mafia Inc., right?
Yeah, he got it. I saw because I went and looked because I'm looking to do maybe background work, and I saw that Dominic DeRosa has a solid role. He's the bus driver, so that's very interesting.
He's killing it. Dominic, you're killing it, buddy.
Shout out to you, Dominic.
I see you, man.
Guys, me and Matthew are signing out. Have a good game. Forza Italia 2, guys, and everybody else that's in. Croatia won today. That's cool. Guys, take care. We are signing out. Ciao.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. Ciao.